Grady Judge, who's the sheriff of Polk County, Florida, he's in the news because he's speaking out against what happened in Texas and how you need to prepare. He said, here's what happens in Polk County, Florida.
If you come to a school in this county armed, we're going to do our best through either our guardians, our school resource officers, or our school resource deputy sheriffs to eliminate the threat outside of the school before they ever get to the children.
And we spoke earlier about the Guardian program here in Florida, where you are trained and vetted, and you're a volunteer that carries a weapon. And what they want to do is they want to make sure if somebody comes on property of a school and they are armed and they intend to do harm, really, he doesn't even say that. He says, I mean, he cuts it down at if you're armed, period. We will neutralize you before you get into the school. However, as we saw in Uvalde, Texas, not all times are the schools secure. Unfortunately, school doors are propped open for whatever reason. And that's when really horrible things can happen. Then he held up a photo of two armed police officers with weapons, large rifles, pointed directly at the camera. He held up that photo and he said this.
This is the last thing you'll see before we put a bullet through your head if you're trying to hurt our children. We're going to shoot you graveyard dead if you come onto a campus with a gun, threatening our children or shooting at us.
We're going to kill you graveyard dead. And I don't know if you're familiar with the different levels of dead, but there's dead where you're just shot and you're kind of laying there and they can take you to the hospital and revive you. Then there's dead where you're shot and they have to zip you up in a body bag. Then there's graveyard dead. And graveyard dead means they don't have to do anything because you're not only dead, you're already 6 feet under.
We're going to shoot you graveyard dead if you come onto a campus with a gun, threatening our children or shooting at us.
Yeah. And he said that this is something that is, that is what they train for. They train in Polk County, Florida, to go into the school, to charge at the intruder, the gunman, the criminal, and take him out at any and all costs. They do not wait, he said. We do not group. We do not assess. If there's somebody in a school, they have a gun, we go in and we take care of business. And he was asked about, or he was, referring to the whole, we were waiting for a ballistic shield excuse that the police in Uvalde, Texas were using, or we were waiting, somebody ordered us to regroup because we were being shot at something. There was that kind of explanation coming out of the Texas Police Department. Here is how he explained the need for police to always and immediately engage a shooter in a school.
We're going to charge directly to the threat. There's no mustering, there's no gathering up. We go individually to the threat and engage it. That's what we train for. Why do we train like that? If they're shooting at us, they're not shooting at the children. Now, we don't want to be shot either, but given the choice of being shot and killed on the ground or those children dying, we'll die every time.
Will die every time. Given the choice of shooting at the shooter, getting shot and killed, or watching children die, they will choose to get killed every single time. He said if the shooter's shooting at us, they're not shooting at the children. And in Polk County, Florida, that's the way it is. Everybody knows it. Everybody follows it. It's the order you're given. It's what you've been trained to do. And the problem that we have in this country is not that we have too many guns. It's not that we have too many weapons. It's not that we have too few background checks. It's that we have too few Sheriff Grady Judges from Polk County, Florida.